Hello.
Hi, this is Cheryl in Park City. We're just waiting a minute or two here to allow a few others to join us. We'll put our phone on mute for just a minute. And if those of you on the call who aren't speaking could put your phones on mute, we'd sure appreciate it. Thank you. We'll be back in just a minute. Wish we could tell how many we have on. There's no way. It's just 11:01, you guys. 2 more minutes. We have a ton of ground to cover too, so I need to keep moving if possible. What do we owe the honor of your presence today?
What are we doing?
Shasta River.
Patrick, you want to sit here? Sit here.
Okay.
Get in.
Hi, everyone. This is Cheryl Barnes here in Park City. We'll go ahead and get started today. Tom Kelly was going to join us, but is unable to. He's in West Hollywood right now. So I will go ahead and kind of fill in for him. Just want to welcome everybody to the pre-Congress teleconference, the annual teleconference that we do to help get division and sport leadership in the know a little bit before Congress hits in a couple of weeks here. We have a lot to cover today, so I will go ahead and get started. Are there any questions going into the call before we get started? Okay. So I'd like to cover just a few things for membership. And I'd like to also, before I do that, let you know who's in the room here. In Park City, we have Jenny Wright from Member Services, Matt Lemon from Member Services, Chip Knight from Alpine, Katie Figgith from Freestyle, John Casson from Sport Education, Gwen Watkins from Western Region, and Robert Lazzaroni from Nordic, Megan Arrigo from Alpine, Ellen Adams from Club Development, Patrick Rummel from Alpine, and Jeff Weinman from Competition Services. So sliding right into member services update here. First, I'd like to talk to you about growing athletic membership, which is one of our key goals and will likely continue to be going forward. This season, we look to end the season with just shy of 34,500 members. We're at 34,444. That's about a 6.1 or 6.2 increase over last year's final number. And this is how that stacks up. Cross-country membership is up by 12%. Alpine up by about 5.7%. Short-term memberships were up largely at 45%. We also saw a good increase in member clubs. We did some outreach to clubs we hadn't had as members who hadn't renewed for some time. So we have a total of 389 clubs versus 355 last year. That's close to a 10% increase there as well. So in terms of customer service, we made some really good headway this year. I, for one, was surprised at how well the online knowledge base, which we call PHPKB, was accepted and used this year. It's accessible 24/7 on the website. It includes over 250 articles, and we're adding to that as items come up that we think are needed, and editing those in the off season as well. We've had almost 10,000 searches since we've launched in August of 2016. I would count that as a big win. We've noticed that our phones are a little bit lighter, and so I think people are using that to their advantage. Our long-term goal is really the hope that other departments will be able to provide content and we'll be able to join the knowledge base at some point. Right now, it is limited to member services. Other customer service enhancements we look to deploy this year. We've already launched what we call OS Ticket, which is a support ticket system. What that system does is converts all emails to a service ticket. It provides an automated acknowledgement that USSA has received the message. It includes a link to the knowledge base, and then it provides a link to track for the user to track their ticket status. On our end, it really helps us to ensure that all issues are covered from inception to resolution. The tickets include help topics, which better track and monitor, allow us to better evaluate common issues, and then we can begin to solve those issues as we get through a season and kind of see what topics keep coming up. We think we know here, but it would be good for us to have that confirmed by the OS ticket system and the analytics that we'll get from that. We also just launched very recently a new online chat system, Talk.2. I spoke with many of you and those at Congress about that system last season. It allows an offline message to be converted to a ticket in OS Ticket, so nothing's lost there. It also has tagging and analytics, which again help for evaluation for us and resolution of problems and common issues. We also are looking to use an end of chat survey that will help gauge our service levels and how people feel about the chat system and the service that we've provided through that tool. So in the next slide here, it may be a little bit small, but what you can see is the Let's Talk link, basically on the same page where it was on the membership page, and how that goes to a little screen that asks for name, email, and the USSA ID, which is optional. And then you can see kind of what we see in conversation when somebody has chatted with us. So we are using those tools now. We wanted to get those started in the off system, both the OS ticket and the online chat, so that we can get kind of that learning curve under our belt here. Want to move right into what's new for FY18. We do have some policy adjustments and just a few. Who's ever on the phone, could you just make sure that you mute your phones for me, if you would? Thank you. Short-term membership policy adjustments. We are going to, based on feedback from divisions and different sports, we're going to limit the number of short-term memberships that may be purchased by any given member to 2 per member per season. After that, an upgrade would be required for someone to compete, continue competing through the season. The first short-term membership, we are trying to hold to that being completed online. There's so much data that we get from that, and it's difficult to do that with all the requirements that we have from legal and from other departments here at the COE. It's difficult to collect that on paper. We realize there may be some exceptions. Please contact us for those, and we'll try to work with you on those. Price adjustments for this season are pretty limited, and they're very negligible. In Alpine, the U12 and under short-term membership is going to go from $15 to $20 per day. Same with the Alpine short-term membership, and cross-country short-term is going to go from $10 to $15 per day. Freestyle, free skiing, U11 and under will go from $15 to $20 a day as well. And then jumping Nordic follows cross-country and goes from $10 a day to $15. So very negligible, $5 increases. In terms of full season membership pricing adjustments, very few here as well. Those include the Alpine, Freestyle, and Free Skiing General membership from $15 to $20. And those are full season memberships. Snowboard General membership as well goes from $15 to $20. And then the only other two would be the Alpine U14 with a $5 increase from $75 to $80, and the Masters increase from $90 to $100. And that is it for price adjustments and short-term membership kind of policy adjustments there. Wanted to finish the member service update by talking about Experticity. Experticity, for those of you who aren't familiar, is the group formerly known as Promotive, and I think a couple other names that we are now using for our member benefits. We had total engagement really of about 2,300. We'd really like to see that at a minimum double this year. We know that we need to have more promotion, but some of the more popular brands that have been used on there include Swix, Helly Hansen, Omeyer, Raleigh Bicycles, and Mountain Khakis. Those are just a few. It's a great tool. There are substantial discounts. I would encourage everybody to talk this up. It's a great platform, and we definitely want to use it and make the most of it. That really concludes my membership update, and I want to thank Jenny and Matt also for their contributions this year and helping to put this presentation together as well. And now I'd like to turn it over to Ellen Adams for club development update. Ellen?
Hi, thank you. And just a reminder for those who are out there via the internet, there is a chat section on the lower part of your screen. So as we wrap up, if you have any questions, feel free to enter them there. As Cheryl said, we really have a packed agenda here, so I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible, and I'll be available during Club Excellence Conference and Congress if anybody has any follow-up questions about what we're up to. I came on board in September. There was a transition between Brian Krill and myself in the department. It was actually a good time for the club development program to go through a change, in that Brian had set things up really well and gotten the majority of our top clubs in the country into and through the certification process. So it was a good time to sort of recheck, renew, and review what we were doing and kick it off again. So right now, since I've been here, we've had 2 clubs advance from silver to gold. It's a new process that we implemented. The club development and club certification program is designed to be a continuum of improvement for clubs. So we expect to see clubs moving up through the rank as we go. So those were both big success stories with Mount Mansfield Ski Club and Sun Valley Ski Education Foundation being able to successfully move from silver to gold, given the input and feedback we had given them previously. That dropped our silver level from A to 6. Currently, we came into this season with 8 bronze level clubs, and we currently have 7 that are in process. Most of those, they all started actually after I came on board in September, and they all found that it's probably a little more rigorous than they expected, so it's been a challenge for them to get that completed during the season, but they're doing a good job. So along those lines, also, as I said, we developed a process and criteria to advance in level. The other thing that we've done is added a couple new club consultants to the program, and as you probably know, they provide their services free of charge, and they accompany us on our club site visits for the consultation and evaluation. And also new, we're implementing a peer review program where we will bring leadership from our podium certified clubs on our site visits and evaluation assessment processes. And this is going to be a great way to bring some experts into the mix in different fields, as well as to really facilitate collaboration between clubs that are going through the certification process and sharing the best practices for those that have gone through it. As I mentioned, our first round of clubs, many of them are facing a recertification process. It's a quadrennial program where every 4 years they're up for review and renewal. So we have 9 clubs that are starting that process. Now it's been clearly defined, and it's going to take a deeper dive into some things, as I'll talk about in a minute. We've also taken our first round of collecting and reporting findings of practices, the silver and gold level, and started to report those back to our membership clubs on a national basis. And so far we've done that in Boston at Copper. And we have reports available that really just show how clubs are demonstrating and implementing these practices. And also we've aligned our Club Excellence webinars with 8 areas of organizational performance that are assessed during the certification process. So everything's starting to really line up with this whole certification process. The other thing that we've just implemented and had our first successful pilot is having fee-based consulting services. We have a lot of experts on our certification team, and they have experience in everything from strategic planning to program development, fundraising events. And we're finding that clubs are valuing these services. We have enough credibility now from the work that we've done to be able to charge for these fees. So we successfully supported a search for a new executive director at one of our clubs, and I see this as just the beginning of a new program for us. The other thing that's new for us this year is a Gold Club Leadership Forum that's taking place at the Club Excellence Conference. And that is because there's a very large appetite out there for all levels of club leadership, from executive directors to athletic directors and program directors, to get together in a safe environment where they can discuss things candidly and honestly and share their ideas and brainstorm some of their challenges. We continue to provide opportunities and support our partners and affiliates. More information about those programs to come. And John will probably talk a little bit, John Cassidy, Sport Education, about the survey that we conducted in club development and how that's led into some sport education initiatives. So looking ahead, our certification resources are going to shift from a large number of silver gold certifications, because the beginning of the process really targeted those high-level clubs in the country and got them up to speed very quickly. And now we're going to be looking at bringing more clubs on into the process at the bronze level. I said that previously that our energy is going to go into recertification. The first round of the 9 clubs will be undertaking that quadrennial recertification starting this summer. The other thing we're going to be doing is, as we go through the new certifications and recertifications, is really looking into more objective markers and detailed athletic programming review in all sports, on snow and dry land, and understanding where clubs' practices fall in relation to what our guidelines and recommendations are, as well as tweaking and improving our recommendations going forward. We want to continue to enhance benefits and recognize all of our certified clubs to continue to add value to that. We're looking at adding 4 regional club excellence conferences. Again, there's an appetite for that in the industry to get some of our staff out there face-to-face with our clubs. Some of them, it's a challenge to come to a national conference. We'll continue to promote and expand our club consulting services. And we're going to continue, as I said, to add forums for different levels of leadership at clubs to get together and share their ideas. We have a couple pilot programs we're testing. We're looking at working with USSA, a club within a club program, which we'll be talking about more at the Club Excellence Conference. And we're also looking at how we can leverage the NASTAR programming to become a stronger resource for our clubs. And we're looking at a couple pilot programs there. We'll continue to try to in the cross-country world and understand how our programming and resources and tools can help support them in their development goals. And lastly, it's time to revise and update the 2013 USSA Club Handbook. And I think along with the web site changes and the rebranding of the organization, it's just a great time to take a look at that to make that resource something that's very easy to use and very available to our clubs. So that's it from my world. I'm going to turn it over to John and send the laptop his way. And please don't hesitate to find me with any questions.
Great, thanks, Ellen. This is John Casson, the Director of Sport Education. And like Ellen, I kind of started taking over for Brian in August. And one of the first and best things I did was bring Ellen on board. So the next area, I just want to touch base on a couple things that we did in 2016-17. After Ellen was brought on board, we hired a gentleman named Chris Packard as our coach education manager. And this represents a pretty significant change in direction for what we've done in the past, as Chris does not come from a coaching background, but he comes from a background with a couple of master's degrees in education and curriculum design. So somebody who's really an expert on building education programs rather than necessarily an expert on coaching. To support him, we formed several working groups within all of our sports that can provide the expertise sports that he's working on. But as part of his first project, we initiated an extensive revision of the level 100 coach certification in all USSA sports. And I'll provide more details during Congress, but essentially we're re-looking at the whole program for level 100 and revising it in every single sport within USSA. We hope to have that launched in most sports by September. And there'll be a level 100 certification that is on an online platform. So the in-person clinics that we've done in the past will continue, but will be focused more on technical and tactical on-snow components, while the other aspects of coaching will be moving to an online platform. To support that from a resource perspective, we kind of overhauled our COED program, and we removed it from Dartfish, or Dartfish's online platform, and moved it to YouTube temporarily. And then again, in the end of the summer, we'll be moving it internally into the USSA website. So Coe Tv is kind of still in the process of changing. All the content and resources are still there, and we'll be loading them onto our new internal platform here shortly. And then our DVD program, where we sell DVDs to all of our members, coaches, clubs, etc. We are going to move that. DVDs will still be available for those of you who still have DVD players, and actually I think I still have a couple of VHS tapes in stock if you want. But we'll be moving a lot of our video resources to a video on demand platform where you can download and view videos online and through your computer. Kind of underpinning all this was an ongoing revision of our training systems matrices in all sports. We have collected a bunch of data from our gold and silver clubs to make some more extensive and more detailed recommendations on training volumes and training types. Again, I'll be presenting this in more detail at the Club Excellence Conference, and these materials will be released and available online shortly thereafter. And then finally, in relation to the training systems, the accessibility of the materials, we haven't done a poster that clubs can put up in their team rooms or offices. But what we are going to be looking at doing and actually implementing shortly is a print-on-demand platform where our clubs and coaches can print materials on their own. Saves us on having to print 10,000 copies, and coaches and clubs can just print materials as they need, whether that's a poster of the training systems or we're working on some handbooks and coach education manuals that'll be available on that platform as well. And then one of our really cool achievements last year was we reinstated the Level 400 program at Coach Academy. We did that in Mammoth for alpine, snowboard, and free ski all combined together, working towards the 400. And we also ran Level 300 programs separately for alpine and snowboard and free ski at Mammoth. We'll be doing that again coming up here in a few weeks in Mammoth. Hopefully they have their snow sticks around from the hundreds of feet they got this winter. Just a couple of statistics for you. We increased our number of clinics, and last year was a bit of an anomaly with the pretty marginal snow years. We ended up canceling a lot of clinics last year, but if you compare it to the year before, we're up about 10% in number of clinics and about the same in number of participants as well. So we're seeing an increase in participation in our clinics and a number of clinics we're able to offer. Running at about 60% of our member coaches have some sort of level of certification, which I'd like to see that increase, especially with the availability of online platforms. Hopefully we can get that number up more into the 70 to 75% range of coaches who have some sort of certification. But our overall numbers of certified coaches have gone up, which is a testament to our overall membership numbers going up. So if the percentage stays the same, but we have more members, that would mathematically mean we have more certified coaches. So that's a good sign that we're getting more coaches engaged in the certification process and offering quality programming to their athletes at every stage of development. This is a little bit of an example of what the training systems will look like. It may not be super visible for you, but this is kind of what the revised version looks like with different training volumes and different training types, which is a pretty important factor that we feel is really critical to helping our clubs design programming for their athletes. So we've divided it up into 4 different training types, from coached free skiing to competition simulation, and then have made some recommendations based on what our top clubs are doing on a mix of those different training types at each phase of development, along with changing the training volume recommendations from days to hours per season. And again, when I get into this in more detail on the Excellence Conference, we developed a matrix for our clubs to kind of determine how to achieve those hours, because obviously some of our clubs have 16-week seasons and some of our clubs have 24-week seasons. So to get to that training volume hours is going to vary from club to club and region to region. So again, I'll be reviewing this more during the Club Excellence Conference, but this will be released to the public here shortly in the next couple of weeks. So looking ahead to what we're working on in 2017-18, the new Level 100 certification I mentioned before will be launching in the fall. 10 online modules the coach will take, followed by an on-snow clinic, significantly raising the bar on the type and amount of training a coach needs to achieve their Level 100 certification. We're looking at initiating clinician training for all sports in the early winter of 2017. I'm hoping to gather all of our clinic leaders who manage our in-person clinics together at a location to be determined in the early winter and really go through the new material, the new program, and what we're going to be doing on snow in those clinics, and that will help with our consistency and the level of quality in the clinics we're delivering. Once the Level 100 is completed, we'll start work on the Level 200, and then, yep, you guessed it, right after that, we'll start working on the 300 probably in the following year. And then finally, one of the big things that we've looked into is continual learning, and continuing education and professional development is a huge factor, and one of the things we're looking to initiate is a mentoring program for more experienced coaches to work with younger developing coaches and help them along their pathway in coaching. And then through the online platform where you can create these professional learning communities, whether it's a closed forum or open forum opportunities where coaches can get together in a non-judgmental format, hopefully, and share ideas and ask questions and get those questions answered as they move through the coaching pathways. A couple other aspects that are really important is, as I mentioned with continuing education, with our online platform, behind the scenes, it creates a much more dynamic database that we have of all of our coaches, so we can actually track continuing education and all the requirements much more accurately. So coaches will know when their certifications are expiring and then be able to immediately click on options to maintain their certifications through their continuing education credits and programs. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be relaunching Coe Tv on Brightcove, which is our internal USSA video player system. You may have already seen this on our website already, videos.ussa.org, and then we'll have a section devoted to Coe Tv on that platform. The video on demand platform I mentioned earlier should be launching here in the next couple of weeks, and the print on demand platform should be up and running any day now, actually. So that'll allow easier access to a lot of our resources and materials. And that's all I have for sport education. I'll be roaming around all the different sport committee meetings during Congress and giving a similar update, but obviously available to answer any questions you have and go into this stuff in a little more detail. So thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Chip, do you have anything for an Alpine update?
Yeah. Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks, John. Just briefly on the Alpine side, we're really looking forward to welcoming everyone to Park City for Congress in about 2 weeks' time. I think the big news this year is we're officially rolling out the new ASC structure which was approved last spring and has been activated through the winter with chairs and seats being filled. So we've got 5 subcommittees and working groups reporting up to each of those subcommittees. Both Daryl Landstrom and I and others feel this is going to be a very efficient working process at Congress with the load shared in a meaningful way across the board, and not too much on any couple individuals who happen to chair a certain subcommittee. So we're looking forward to that. One of the key new features, well, I guess 2. One is that there's an education subcommittee, so John and Ellen's work can filter up C. But the other exciting new subcommittee is the regional subcommittee, and this is a subcommittee for the regional ACCs to report their work up to. And it's also a place where we're going to report the work of a domestic development task force that's been going on this winter. And that's been an effort to bring more of a local divisional grassroots voice into our governance structure. So we've been having a series of calls through the winter, and we'll come forward with some recommendations on how to connect the leagues, the various leagues throughout the country, and together in the pipeline. And then also looking at recommendations for how to keep kids in the sport from the U12, U14 level on up into the high school ages and college. Alongside that domestic development task force, there's been an equipment task force going on, and the work of both these task forces are somewhat aligned. And on the equipment front, we sought to bring a broader set of voices into this discussion and look at our equipment rule and try and come to some better consensus going forward. One of the big things we learned when we looked closely at the equipment front, we started looking at membership numbers, and the impact of the age change, the FIS age change about 5 years ago, has been pretty substantial in terms of what our USSA track racing looks like. So it's become, since 2013, it's become much more of a U16 competition track. And we've kept athletes in the sport through the U16 level, and actually started losing them more at the 16, 17, 18-year-old periods. So as a result, we have a diminished age population, and most of those athletes of FIS age have stayed in the sport because they want to be FIS athletes. So one of the big recommendations coming out of this task force is going to be to be much more flexible with equipment regulations going forward and adopt U16 level regulations to allow for slower developing athletes to stay in the sport and still have a way to compete and have fun. So that's some of the exciting discussions that we're looking forward to at Congress. Once again, it'd be great to have everyone here, and I look forward to seeing you. Thanks.
Thanks, Chip. Katie Figgith from Freestyle.
Hi, Katie Figgith here. Don't have too much today. Most everyone has been in the loop in regards to Congress for Freestyle. Couple things that have come down the pipeline and that have been talked about this past year was revamping nationals a tad and our U.S. champs, and making the criteria a tad more elite. I'm still waiting on receiving some proposals on that. I'm interested to see what our committees have come up with. Same thing with junior nationals. I heard talk on scheduling, different format, allowing more athletes in. Again, I'm looking forward to those proposals. I don't have any yet. As many know, my proposals I would like in by May 1st, and I'll have the final agenda out and built by May 8th. Just a clarification, freestyle and free skiing meetings will be in the COE this year on the 3rd floor in the old academy space. It will not be located at the DoubleTree, and that will allow both these to work together. And yeah, that's what I got.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Katie. Abby, I believe you're on the phone, and I will let you take the wheel for a free skiing and snowboard update.
Cheryl. Hi, this is Abby Nyberg. I wanted to give you a quick update on the free skiing sport committee meeting. As Katie mentioned, the free skiing meeting will take place at the COE. We're looking forward to some great meetings. We have a couple things coming up. There's a few spots open for elections. If anyone is interested in nominating someone, please feel free to send me the nomination directly. Also, we will be focusing our meetings a lot on sport development and pipeline integration and making sure that we've got the best possible sport development system going for free skiing. So these will be some really good meetings. Excited to get this group together and continue to move our sport forward. On the snowboarding side, we've had some great meetings there and looking forward to this group. First things, we actually, for anyone interested in border cross, we have a border cross working group meeting that will happen May 9th, so prior to the snowboarding meetings. And that'll be 3 to 5. You're welcome to email me if you're interested in attending and I can get you more information. Again, we will also have a couple of elections on the snowboard side. So if you have anyone interested, again, reach out to me. And on the snowboard side, we will continue to have great discussions on our sports development. We have USSA that will be attending the meetings, so we have some good dialogue between their organization and ours. And overall, just looking forward to some unique meetings. This year we're going to change up our format a little bit and really focus more on discussions and future planning for the sports. We'll also be taking a little journey up to the Utah Olympic Park to check out the Project Jump facility that's being built up there. We're building an airbag. It's a landing airbag. So it's a new training facility that we're really excited about, hoping this will open at the end of June. And this is another opportunity for our athletes to continue to train in Utah and have the best experiences possible, preparing them for upcoming Olympics. So looking forward to some good meetings, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions leading up to them, and look forward to seeing everyone there.
Thanks so much, Abby. I'd like to turn it over to Roberta Lazzaroni from the Nordic side to give an update on cross country and jumping Nordic combined.
Hey, good morning, Robbie. So what will be new for us this year, the Tuesday afternoon before the start of Congress, we will do for the first time a cross-country divisional summit. So we have 10 divisions. We'll allow 2 people per division, either executive director, division leaders, to get in a room here at the COE on the 2nd floor. And we will learn and share best practices. We will have also some presenters from USSA, from communication, from fundraising, and telling them their job here at USSA and how it could help the division when they go back on their home field. So that will be a very interesting and full afternoon on Tuesday. The second one, as Cheryl mentioned earlier, so membership is up roughly 12%, and you can pretty much on every age class, from U12 all the way to master. So very interesting to note on the U16 and up, so the competitors program, we added about 150 skiers there, which is a good numbers, and also on the non-athletes, which are the coaches, officials, TD, we added about 75 people there. And the next big step for us on the membership will be to go out with the pop races and how USSA can help them either with insurance or registrations. So we will push on this direction. On the coaches discussion, on the junior side, I would like to thank Pete Leonard from Alaska, who lead the junior group the past couple of years. So now he's stepping down and has been replaced by Adam St. Pierre from Colorado. So we restarted the discussion about junior nationals in particular. Junior national is now massive events, close to 500 kids, and it's very difficult, very expensive for every division to come as a division. So we restarted the discussion, so there will be a lot of hot topics in Congress. We started already the first meeting at JN this year in Lake Placid. And so we just wanted to step back a little bit and ask the question, what's the purpose of junior national championships? And then based on whatever we want to do with that, then it will lead to the next steps. Should U16 be there? What the maximum number of athletes that will be allowed there? Should we keep the the quota per division as today, or should we base on the USSA point? So anyway, just restarting the discussion on the junior nationals. And then on the senior calendar, pretty much the same as last year. We had good meeting with all the coaches in Fairbanks in March. So the clear idea to start the Super Tour 1 week later than the Thanksgiving week. After this first year of good cooperation with Cross Country Canada, we would continue more and more in this direction. It was very well received by the US coaches and athletes, and also on the Canadian side. Discuss about the rotation of the Super Tour between the region, FIS versus USSA extension races, and then there will be some discussion about filling all the open World Cup spots that Gruber will be involved in. And the last one, we started a small working group last year, which we will put some gas into it now in the next couple of weeks, about benchmarks for the divisions. What are the divisions? How can we help the division create and develop the right pipelines? We still have some races where some division put a U14 racing a 10K, and that's not appropriate. So we just want to make sure that the benchmark will be created, that all division can see what we expect from them or what is the best for the sport, and then we have also a way to track if they are on track with doing a good job there. That's it for Nordic. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Before I conclude here, just want to make sure we don't have anything from Plant Services or from Patrick. Okay. So finally, I want to go through Congress details. Those are in the PowerPoint presentation that we have shown today. We will go ahead and email that presentation out within the next couple of days here. We'll also try to post that online as well so that everybody has access to it. Before we close, I would like to go ahead and open it up for questions, comments from anybody on the phone or through online chat for those on the web. Any questions, comments? Wow, you guys are quiet today. Okay. Thanks again. I'm glad we were able to squeeze this in and get things done within the allotted hour here. And we had a lot of information to cover. If you feel we've missed anything, let us know that too. It'll be good learning experience for us to see what else we need to include next time around. And we look forward to seeing you at Congress. And we thank you all for your hard work. I know our seasons are intense, and we can all appreciate the effort that goes into making them successful every year. So thank you, and we'll sign off from here in Park City. Bye-bye.